Umakukau. Ai kla kawa kapua mai ole kla. Kla kawa he o kala kawa he inoa. O kapua mai ole zala.
For anyone who doesn't know us personally, I grew up with him being able to do that voice perfectly.
My name's Stitch.
And it freaked me out as a kid. My dad could turn into Stitch.
Ohana means family.
Oh, it's such a cute movie. So we just watched
Lilo and Stitch.
the original, also on DVD for those of you who like blurry animation. But yes, watch. It's better on Blu-ray. And then
How can you tell that my dad's a nerd? We're watching this in like preparation for seeing the live action, which live action hasn't had a good record,
no,
but you've heard mixed reviews.
we will see that movie later. But we are going to talk about the original,
Yes. Without any context.
right? Because we haven't
Later
seen
on.
it. So we
Yeah,
don't even know.
exactly. So
This movie, first of all, it's amazing that it got made because one of the credits in it was based on an idea by Chris Sanders. When's the last time you saw a credit for someone that just based on an idea? This movie has a bunch of great characters, a fantastic and very short story, but it winds up working perfectly.
yeah.
It starts out with Stitch, who's known as 626, but he's created by a mad scientist, and he's a monster, and he just wants to destroy everything.
Yes.
And he's crazy and destructive, and kind of cute, but also
He's
evil.
destructive in a cute way.
And so he breaks free, and he's headed for Earth, which is covered mostly with water, but somehow he winds up being able to land in...
The one speck that was in the huge ocean of water on this planet.
Right.
And so this is the context that he finds himself in. People are after him because he's an experiment. He is trying to hide himself by living with this family, which are the two sisters. Then through that, he learns how to not be destructive, and that he actually values having a family, even if it is broken. It's sweet.
It is. It's just a sweet story, but it takes the oddities of every person and embraces them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, exactly.
Lilo herself is a fascinating character because we wouldn't necessarily have said it back then, but now we might say that she's on the...
Autism spectrum.
Yeah.
She's actually I don't want to say that she's like a literal advocate, but because she was on screen and people loved her anyway, it gave a lot of people that did have autism a little bit of hope. It was really nice to see her oddities not seen as just weird and gross and ooh, get away. They clearly showed that with the other kids, but
Right.
because of this movie, a whole lot more people just became more accepting of stuff like that and loved them anyway.
Yeah,
And it's just,
she definitely has her own vibe.
yes.
And the way that they would play her character off other people, where they would be all reacting and freaking out, and she would just be very straight.
Yes. She's taking everything literally.
Right. This is my normal. What
Yeah.
are you freaking out about? I'm
love-
just going to lie here and die.
One of my favorite moments was when Cobra Bubbles comes up to her and she's just like, "Did you ever kill anyone?"
And she's dead serious.
Yes.
That's Lilo. We've got the crazy mad scientist who just wants to control him, but
I'm not even sure if that guy even has a real goal.
right. He's just sort of glad that he's free and he wants to
Yes.
make the most out of it. And then you've got the other alien guy
Pleakley.
who's trying to follow the rules, but he also wants to protect the girl.
Yeah, he's kind of like a neutral character.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to get his job done.
Right. And then you got Cobra Bubbles, the social worker guy who's clearly patterned after Men in Black.
Yes.
Well, he's voiced by Ving Rhames, who's more famous now for Mission Impossible. But let's talk about her sister,
Nani.
Nani. Everything just kind of worked. Like, her job mostly was to react to everything going on. She was kind of the straight person, but not really. She had her own desire to make things better. She could never
Yeah.
really work it well, but she loved her sister. The way that they reveal what happened to her parents, I don't know, there's just some very tender moments that are painful, but also sweet and endearing. They had a delicate balance to that, which is really hard to come by because it's pretty stark when you've lost both your parents
Yeah.
and you're in danger of losing your sister, other, being taken away, but they play all these elements off of each other, and it's just some of the best storytelling that's out there.
I saw a video when I was doing my own research on this, but it was just kind of commentary and getting different perspectives on it. One of the things that the person pointed out, and I don't remember their name, so if I do, I'll probably edit it in later, was that they gave some context as to what was going on her side, if you really think about it. Some people have some time before they take on such a big responsibility like that. She didn't. She's around 18 or 19, and her parents were just gone in an instant. And she had to take on caring for her sister immediately. And she immediately took it on. And another bit of context was that she said the other social workers thought she was a scream, which means there have been several.
Right.
This wasn't the first time. She's had plenty of chances and she just keeps trying. So it just goes to show how much she just was pouring into her sister.
Yeah.
Another bit of context again, she said that she's the only one that understands her. And it's true.
That was important.
Yeah. And because of that, that's another reason why she was fighting so dang hard. Nobody else would have gotten her.
Yeah.
She developed the photos for her sister. Even though she thinks is weird, she let the dog's name be Stitch and have the one that got ran over be in their house and all these things. And she even overheard her sister praying for an angel, and the very next day she wanted to get her a dog.
Yeah.
All of these little things, if you think about the story from each different character's perspective, shows how deep the story really runs, even though, as you said, it was very short.
It's packed to the hilt, and there's no fat in the entire movie. It just keeps going. One point that I want to make in relation to what you were talking about, they do fight in this movie, the sisters. You know, at first it's funny, and then it got kind of serious, and they yelled at each other and said some hurtful things, actually. And then they went apart, but then they came back to each other and forgave each other, and there was reconciliation.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of beautiful, especially these days where it just seems people's hearts seem more callous and hard, and if someone offends you, it seems like you'll never forgive them.
Yeah,
You know?
and second chances are a lot less common nowadays.
Yeah. And to see a story like this where, yes, it's family, you don't always get along, but you can work it out. You know, you can forgive.
Yeah.
And you can bounce back and grow together and realize that I'm flawed, you're flawed, we can work it out. It's just beautiful.
I noticed that the thing that broke Nani was what Bleakley said. Now you don't have anyone to yell at anymore. And that hit her the most, because that's probably what she's thinking that's the last thing that Lilo will think of, is just them fighting all the time.
It's that outside perspective that kind of, she didn't want that to be the thing that she was
Remembered
remembered
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just very insightful into human nature. All right, so let's talk story. You know,
Let's talk story.
yeah, that was a great segue, wasn't it?
Well, I think one good thing was that the characters kind of imprinted what they were feeling onto something else. It's not called imprinting, it's called projecting. For instance, Lilo was projecting everything that she was feeling into her art. She had a blue period. She was listening to Elvis at 6 years old.
Right.
She was making all of these pictures of all of these
Overweight people eating ice cream or something.
Yes. She even had her doll, which I found to be particularly a projection from her. Because she made it, right?
Right.
And she knew that it had flaws. She said the head's too big.
Yeah.
But instead of tossing it out, saying it's too ugly, she took it in, she gave it a story. She had a moment there where, when the girls had made fun of her and ran away, she at first threw it to the ground and started walking away from it.
Because they wouldn't accept her with it.
And then she ran back and picked it up.
Yeah.
And it was like her accepting that was how she was as well. She was weird, instead of just letting people change her.
It was a tender moment, even for a doll, and it also echoes Ohana. You know, no one gets left behind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The feels!
I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry.
But it's very sweet.
It is.
I just love the pace of this movie. Everything works. So, you know, it starts out in space, which for guys, we like that. It's cool. There's guns and spaceships and fun things and aliens and all the rest of that.
Side thing, real quick. All of these aliens are modeled after marine life. Did you notice that? Their ships were like whales.
Oh, okay.
Their colorations were like fish. The people that made this did research in Hawaii to put it all
extrapolated that to the design elements of other things.
Exactly, the words that I needed to say.
Well, that was quite an aside. Maybe I'll just...
No,
Okay,
you
all
continue.
right. So it starts out in space. And we're all geeked about I am, about all the sci-fi stuff and all that. And then cut to Lilo's story. And we start learning about her relationship with her sister. She starts out with a bang because she's late for her luau class.
And you get really invested in all of this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
They yell at each other and she goes up there and then slams the door and you're just like, ah. And then... the green flash come down.
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, right, aliens.
Right, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's great. You're so invested in these new characters after you were given the previous ones. That is a genius of storytelling. You care about them immediately. They have developed them so well that they feel real to you. There's a moment where she brings him up to her room and she talks to him about, sometimes I hear you cry at night.
Yeah.
Because you're lonely too. Something like that.
One thing with this story is that I noticed something when you were describing it, is that very naturally the story builds up all the way up. And then it comes crashing down, but not in a way that everything falls apart, but in a way where things get to calm down, being a little bit more introspective.
Right.
Like the sisters, they started to fight and yell at each other and hurt each other's feelings, and then they reconcile. Parts where she's trying to find a job and her sister's trying to train the dog, and it all builds up, and then they have a moment where they're having their own introspection afterward. It's very natural and very nice.
There's a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
That works so well. Just like at the end, one of the songs is a Hawaiian roller coaster ride, which is, the movie is a roller coaster ride like that.
It is. They're building each other up.
Yeah. That's what it felt like to me. At the end of it, you just feel great. And remember when movies did that? It's something that just brings everybody together. You had a great time. It was fun. Everybody can relate to everything.
Yeah.
And it was just darn good storytelling.
Yeah.
Those ideas are still out there. This movie gives me hope that an original idea can turn into something great. You just have to have people who believe in you and back you. We're going to keep working on our story, and we're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
We want to encourage you that if you've got something on your heart, don't give up. It can be made. It can bless other people. You can get out there. You can more than get out there helping others with the art that you want to create.
One thing to keep in mind, this movie is about family and togetherness and building a community. Don't do it alone.
That's right.
And you build them up and they'll build you up.
Yeah.
Ohana means family.
It's just so weird that you can do that so well.
If you like this video,
please like and share and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Oh yeah, we have a Patreon as well.
Visit our Patreon with
Yes.
exclusive content.
Yes.
We've geared up now. I think we can watch the remake.
Yes.
And even
equipped.
I feel equipped.
We're very equipped.
That's right. Well, you don't have to be buff. I can be buff.
You have a splendid day. We will see you again.
Oh, my nose is running.
My eye has been twitching and itching the entire time, and I couldn't look at the camera for too long because my eye would just go.
You pushed through.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
So I tried surfing once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It did
Once.
not go well. It was when I was a lot heavier.
Oh no.
And I got lessons for a certain other family member, and then I went with them. They had me... You guys were gone for another family thing. You were out of state. And so I was in charge of the other family member, and we went surfing. And so we had to put on a wetsuit, right? Mm. And I was big. And the wetsuit...
I'll get that.
Oh. Anyway, we had to wear a wetsuit. I had a very hard time zipping it all the way up, and I tore it. And it wasn't really mine, because they were using it for the lessons. And so we had this very sweet, younger and thinner lady who was helping. We went out on these boards. He was standing up just fine, because he was younger and thinner and more agile. And I was basically just like, holding on for dear life on top of the board. And the instructor was like, can you just try to stand up? Can you try to balance? And I was just like, and I just like, after like 3 times, I think, where she was really trying to encourage, I just told her, I think I'm just going to lay here. And she goes, that's probably good. I'm like, all right. I just got a reality check from the instructor. Like, I'm not going to be hanging 10. I'm not even going to be hanging 1. I'm just going to be hanging. And
Well, maybe you can try again.
Yeah.
Now that you've,
shed a few pounds, but, you know.
Yeah, there's no nice way to say that.
No. I keep adding to it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Food is good.
Food is very good.
But there's a beauty and an art to surfing. Like, they were really down, and that one character said, you know, I'm no doctor, but I know what could help. And they went out and they just enjoyed nature. They enjoyed each other. And it was just exhilarating and fun.
Look at us fanning about the thing afterward. Oh, shoot, we're at 32 minutes.
All right, we got to stop. So, aloha, I think, is also goodbye as well as hello? No? Or is it only?
Possible. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not a linguist.
Hang 10, everyone. Bye.